I actually do think Dan Mullen is a pretty good coach. And I think he usually gets the most out of his team. But if you're going to go with the whole, like, we don't care about the star rankings. We have our own star rankings. We develop our guys. We're the best, coaching coaches. All right. So if you're going to go back to Dan Mullen, if you're going to go with this whole, like, we have our own star rankings thing and we develop our guys and all that stuff, and he may very well, like, end up with the super team here with Richardson in a year or two. You can't be losing to bad teams like that. And you can't have games where you commit 4 or 5 turnovers or however many they had, or like the Kentucky game where you commit 15 penalties and get a kick block return for a touchdown. Think about Florida's last, 10 or so games against FBS teams. Like the way they finished out last year, very, very respectable loss to Bama. Most of the team opts out. They lose to Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. This year they do thump Tennessee. They handled FAU and USF, and now they've lost to Kentucky. They lost to a bad LSU team, an LSU team that, like, roster wise was much worse than they've been, I think, at any point this season. And they just go out there and they looked unprepared, and they looked really sloppy for the second straight road game, and looked like they were not prepared to be there at all.
Yeah. I mean, I only saw like the second half of this game. I didn't really pay much attention to the first half of it, but once I realized what was going on, it was like kind of deserving of attention. I tuned in, and yeah, it was, I don't know, man. Like I can't really disagree with anything you just said. I don't think this Florida team is very good. I don't think that it has played smart football the last few weeks. I think that it's just, I don't know. There's something wrong. I think at this point, I'm just making Anthony Richardson my starter and going from there, because you're not winning the East. You're probably going to get shellacked by Georgia no matter who you start. Your playoff hopes are done. Like, just give Anthony Richardson the job and start working towards next season. That's what I'm doing if I'm Florida.
Totally agree.
Do you think that, all right, so I'm going to give you the rest of the schedule. You mentioned the Georgia game. The Gators will be off next week, back in action against the Dogs on October 30th. After that, South Carolina, Samford, Missouri, Florida State. Those are all wins. You know what Dan Mullen's going to do to all the haters? He's like, listen, guys, I don't know what you want. We won 8 games, all right? And they're going to go and win a bowl game. We won 9 games, all right? We got good stuff going here. Like, there is this wild character that has become the Florida Gators in the Dan Mullen era, where you are always going to be in the mix for being considered one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the SEC. But until losses like these start getting removed from the slate, there's not going to be the expectation that, and I'm saying this knowing that they won the SEC East just last year, but in terms of the broader pecking order, who's going to be saying that Florida is really challenging Georgia for the crown in the big picture, right? Is that a fair thing to say? Like, the big picture, that this is still the Bulldogs division, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it certainly is. I also wonder, I mean, they don't really have anything left to play for now. So maybe it is play for the future with AR-15. But how many guys on this team and some of the older guys aren't into it anymore? I don't know. We'll see. They usually are not out of the race this early in the year under Mullen, and we'll have to see how hard they keep playing. If they make this many mistakes, almost any game remaining on the schedule is losable. Like, I really have a hard time seeing them lose to South Carolina. But if they come out and they commit, what, they have 6 turnovers today or 5? 4 picks?
At least 4.
4, sorry. Yeah. They did not lose the fumbles.
Fumble
4
luck.
picks. Yeah, right. I mean, they didn't run the ball very well. 35 for 138. That's not.
They didn't do anything very well today, period. I mean, they scored 42 points, and it was one of the more pathetic 42-point performances I can remember seeing.
They allowed Tyrion Davis-Price to, I know one of the broadcasts today said that he set an LSU single game record for rushing yards.
And I believe either broke or threatened the Florida record for most rushing yards against the Gators, which was held by Herschel Walker.